Good morning everyone. Today's topic is anticholinergic drugs. As you've studied the cholinergic drugs, today we will be starting with anticholinergics. So, what are anticholinergics? These are drugs that block or inhibit the actions of acetylcholine in the parasympathetic nervous system, that is on the muscarinic receptors. The autonomic effectors in CNS. Second, nicotinic antagonist also blocks certain actions of acetylcholine. They are generally called as ganglionic blockers. Now let's see the mechanism of action of anticholinergics or cholinergic blocking agents. So what is the mechanism of action? First, these drugs are competitive antagonists. They compete with acetylcholine. They block acetylcholine at the muscarinic receptors. You already seen which are the muscarinic receptors: M1, M2, M3, M4 and M5. You know the locations of M1, M2 and M3. As a result, acetylcholine is unable to bind to the receptor site and cause a cholinergic effect. Generally, the antagonism here is reversible. Now let's see the pharmacokinetics. First we'll see what is the absorption. So atropine and scopolamine and the tertiary amine drugs are well absorbed from the gut and across the conjunctival membrane. The transdermal patches of scopolamine are available. Now these are used, scopolamine transdermal patches are used for motion sickness. Generally they are used behind the ears. Quaternary compounds, in contrast, are poorly absorbed and do not cross the blood-brain barrier. Now coming to distribution, except for the quaternary compounds, all the anticholinergic drugs are widely distributed in all body compartments. Scopolamine in particular is rapidly and fully distributed in central nervous system. Let's see the metabolism. About 50% of atropine and 80% of scopolamine is metabolized by liver. There are some species like black rabbits are resistant to atropine action. This is because they have a specific enzyme called atropine esterase, which degrades atropine at a faster rate than the humans. Now let's see the excretion. 50% of atropine is excreted unchanged through urine. Half-life is about 3 hours. Atropine effects decline rapidly in all organs except the eye effect that lasts for about 72 hours or longer than that. Now coming to classification. So these are classified as natural, semi-synthetic and synthetic. So which are the natural ones? They are atropine, hyoscine. Semi-synthetic are homatropine, atropine methionnitrate, ipratropium bromide, hyoscine butyl bromide, benzatropine. Then synthetic are, they are again classified as mediatoric agents. These are cyclopentolonate, tropicamide, then anti-secretory or antispasmodic. These are, first is quaternary compounds. These are propanthelin, clidinium, oxyphenonium, pipenzolate, methyl bromide and glycopyrrolate. Tertiary compounds are dicyclomine and pyrenzepine. Now vasoselective are oxybutene, flavoxate and tollerodine. And the anti-Parkinsonism are benzatropine, trihexyphenidyl and bipyridine. This was the classification. Now coming to the pharmacological actions of anticholinergic drugs. On CNS, they overall have a stimulant effect on CNS. Now small doses, these effects are not appreciable. They decrease the muscle rigidity and tremors by decreasing the cholinergic overactivity in basal ganglia. When given at larger doses, They stimulate medullary centers, vagal respiratory vasomotor centers, cortical excitation, drowsiness, disorientation and hallucinations. Even they depress the vestibular excitation. That is the property of anti-motion sickness. Now its effects on cardiovascular system. In small doses, they decrease the heart rate, that is at M1. In large doses, increases heart rate. It facilitates AV conduction. There is no considerable effect on BP. This is because there is no cholinergic is not involved in the maintenance of vascular tone. On eye, there will be dilated pupils, which is also called as mydriasis. Decreased accommodation due to paralysis of ciliary muscles, that is cyclophagia lasting for 7 to 10 days. Now this results into long lasting blurring of vision and photophobia with these drugs. On body temperature, there will be rise in body temperature. In high doses, there is inhibition of sweating as well as stimulation of temperature centers in hypothalamus. They are also used as local anesthetics. Now coming to other system, that is gastrointestinal system. They relax the smooth muscle tone of gastrointestinal tract, decrease intestinal and gastric secretions, decrease motility and peristalsis. That's why they are used as an antispasmodics. Now coming to genitourinary system, they relax the distressor muscle, increase constriction of internal sphincter. So the result is urinary retention. Then glandular, decreased bronchial secretions, salivation, sweating, acid pepsin and mucus secretion in the stomach. On the respiratory system, they decrease the bronchial secretions and they dilate the bronchial airways. Now coming to atropine substitutes, these are also called as quaternary compounds. First is, let's speak about hyoscine butyl bromide, which is given in a dose of 20 to 40 milligram orally or intramuscularly. Now where is this used? This is used for esophageal and GI spastic conditions. GI is gastrointestinal spastic conditions. Now coming to atropine methionnitrate, it is given in dose of 2.5 to 10 milligram orally or intramuscularly. Now here the use is used in abdominal colic and hyperacidity. And coming to ipratropium bromide, it is given in dose of 40 to 80 microgram inhalational. It is used in COPD and bronchial asthma. Coming to benzatropine, it is given 1 to 5 milligram orally. It is used in Parkinson's disease. Now coming to glycopyrrolate, it is given in dose of 1.1 to 0.3 milligram intramuscularly and 1 to 2 milligram orally. It has no central effect. It is potent and rapidly acting antimuscarinic. It is used for pre-anesthetic medication and during anesthesia. Now other group, that is propanthelin, clinidium and oxyphenonium. It is used for, these are used in peptic ulcer, gastritis, irritable bowel syndrome, colic and gastrointestinal hypermotility. Speaking about tertiary amines, it has dicyclomine. It is given in dose of 20 milligram oral or intramuscularly. It is a direct smooth muscle relaxant. It has an antispasmodic action and anti-emetic action. The uses are used in dysmenorrhea, which is painful menstruation, then irritable bowel syndrome, motion sickness and morning sickness. Morning sickness is seen in pregnancy. Other is pyranzapine. It is used for relief of peptic ulcer pain. Now coming to the other group, oxybutynin. It has a higher affinity for receptors of urinary bladder and salivary glands. So it will have more action on these organs. So the uses are neurogenic bladder, spina bifida, nocturnal enuresis, overactive bladder, that is urinary urgency, frequency and dysuria. Now the mediator groups, the drugs used as mediatrix, that is atropine. It is potent, it's slow acting and longer acting, undesirable for refraction testing. The pupil dilates in 30 to 40 minutes. The cyclophagia in 1 to 3 hours, which lasts for a week. Now coming to homatropine, 10 times less potent than atropine. Dilatation takes about 45 to 60 minutes and it lasts for 1 to 3 days. Now coming to cyclopentonate, it is potent and fast acting. Dilatation takes about 30 to 60 minutes and it lasts for 1 day. It is preferred for cyclophagic refraction, uveitis, iritis. The adverse effects are transient behavioral abnormalities. Now coming to tropicamide, this one is the quickest. Onset is within 20 to 40 minutes and it has a very brief duration, which is about 3 to 6 hours. All others has 1 to 3 days or 1 day. It gives it is used satisfactorily for refraction testing in adults and for fundoscopy. Now let's see the uses. First, as an antisecretory, that is first is used as pre-anesthetic medication. The drugs used are atropine, glycopyrrolate, hyoscine. Second, in peptic ulcers. Third is pulmonary embolism. Here the drugs reduce the reflex secretions. To check sweating, salivation in Parkinsonism. And GI, that is gastrointestinal hypersecretory states. So it is used as an antisecretory. Second user is as an antispasmodic. So they can be used in intestinal, biliary, renal colic, abdominal cramps, nervous functional diarrhea, irritable bowel syndrome, spastic constipation, pylospasm, gastric hypermotility, gastritis, gastric dyspepsia. Other is then urinary frequency, urgency, enuresis in children and in dysmenorrhea. Other uses in bronchial asthma and COPD. Used in exercise-induced bronchospasms and chronic bronchitis. Used as a mediatic and cyclophagic. Used for diagnostic and therapeutic purposes. In therapeutic for iritis, iridocyclitis, choroiditis and keratitis. Other is as a cardiac vagolytic. Used in partial AV block, AMI, digitalis toxicity, sinus node dysfunction, symptomatic second degree heart block, sinus bradycardia with hemodynamic compromise. Then it has other is in central action, which is motion sickness, anti-Parkinsonism and in OPP poisonings. Now let's speak about the side effects of these cholinergic blocking drugs or anticholinergic drugs. Now let's see the side effects on the board. Towards your left is the body system and towards the right is the side effects or adverse effects. So on cardiovascular system there is increased heart rate and dysarrhythmias. In central nervous system there is central nervous system excitation, restlessness, irritability, disorientation, hallucinations and delirium. Then on the eyes, it has dilated pupils, decreased visual accommodation, increase intraocular pressure. So even the adverse effects are used for the adverse effects of these drugs are also used as a diagnostic purposes, as we've seen as with midwiatric agents. In gastrointestinal, the adverse effects are decreased salivation, decreased gastric secretions, and decreased motility. We've seen these anti-secretory and antispasmodic agents. Then on genitourinary system, the side effect is urinary retention. On glandular, there is decreased sweating. On respiratory, decreased bronchial secretion. So it is also used in asthma and COPD. And exercise induced